Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Neighbors Helping Neighbors podcast, brought to you by the Robertson County Democratic Party. I'm Kaylee, here with my co-host Morgan.
Hello.
And for those watching on video, yes, this is still Morgan, I promise, even with the haircut, it's still the same man. As always, we will start with important dates, events going on. So just a reminder of our 2 weekly protests that are still going on. Wednesday mornings at 8:30 outside the Robertson County Sheriff's Office. Those are the ICE Out protests to protest specifically against ICE just presence in Robertson County. And then on Saturdays from 1 to 3 at the corner of Tom Austin and Memorial, you can park in the Belk parking lot. And that is just a general come protest whatever is on your mind. That is not a specific one like the Wednesday morning protests. Our next RCDP party meeting will be on Tuesday, the 21st. So we hope to see you there. That'll be at the Springfield Senior Center. And then just a reminder, I know I've been harping on the voter registration deadline just passed a couple weeks ago, and that again is for the May 5th county primary. So put that on your calendars, go vote in that county primary on May 5th. And then the final call out that we wanted to make is for those who may not be aware, Morgan and I are going to be going away for the next 2 weeks to go get married and honeymoon in Ireland. So we will be gone for the next 2 weeks, but still keep an eye out. I'm sure there will be posts from Tamara's campaign. Maybe even we can get some clips from Noah, who's running for county commissioner. So there'll hopefully still be some content over the next few weeks, but Neighbors Helping Neighbors will officially return on Sunday, May 3rd. So keep posted, keep an eye on the channel. Just videos may be posted sporadically throughout the next couple weeks. And then the last thing is just updates on the immigration package that's been moving through the Tennessee legislature. Many of these bills are being passed both on the House and Senate side. A couple of them have already been sent to Governor Lee for review and signature. So as always, info in the description, but April 13th and April 14th this week are the 2 main days where there still will be hearings for the bills that have not passed yet. So if you're able to make it out, or even just give a phone call up to Governor Lee or to the Tennessee legislature to oppose these bills. And that takes us to our topic for today. So I think we just kind of wanted to cover kind of a question that kind of pops into everyone's minds, I think, every now and then, is how you can help in times like these and
Yes.
what you can do to make a difference. And we've obviously talked a lot about voting and protesting and kind of supporting your community, but we wanted to just kind of call out, introduce, highlight, I guess, some important organizations in the surrounding area, whether it be, Tennessee, Nashville, Robertson County, just ways that you can maybe financially support if that's more your style of supporting than going out and protesting. So I will let you kick it off with the first one.
Yes, and just a quick note on that also is, yes, we have also introduced many ways for you to help as well. But since we live in a capitalist country, giving your money to good organizations also does a lot of good, a lot more than you may think. The problem is that there are a lot of good charitable organizations out there to help. There are also a lot of charitable organizations out there that don't help as much as they say they do and may just take your money. So I've made a short list here. I understand not everyone can give and help out in a financial capacity, but if you can, here's a short list of nonprofits and charities that I've found that are truly doing good work and are putting your money where their mouth is. So the first one I'm going to call out, no surprise, everyone's probably heard of the national version of this, but the American Civil Liberties Union, specifically the one for Tennessee. The Tennessee American ACLU is designed more for defending the Tennessee Constitution and also making sure that the Bill of Rights is enforced within the state of Tennessee. They use a mix of strategies, mainly community engagement, legal assistance. That's what everyone tends to hear about the ACLU for, is suing the government when they mess up. Legislative lobbying. Yes, we can also use a little bit of lobbying to our benefit. I know how some people may feel about lobbying, but also it's the world we live in. So I'd rather an organization like the ACLU of Tennessee talking to lawmakers and donating to lawmakers than some random billionaire somewhere, for example. The main platforms for the Tennessee ACLU are criminal justice reform, fair treatment of immigrants, free speech, gender equality, LGBTQ equality, and privacy, especially in respect to surveillance and technology. Also, racial justice, religious freedom, voting rights, youth and student rights. They were founded in 1968, and it's a statewide, private, nonpartisan, nonprofit membership organization. So you can definitely go to their website, ACLU for Tennessee. You can donate to them. They have links for how to get involved directly if you don't have the money to help in a financial capacity. But financially, that is a good cause to keep propped up with your donation money.
And I just wanted to call out, in case you may not be aware of what the ACLU does, just kind of how they've made an impact in the state of Tennessee in recent history. So just a few examples of cases or lawsuits that the ACLU has really of Tennessee has gotten behind to help either overturn or reverse laws, or block them from even passing in the first place. So if you remember, a few years ago, back in 2023, Tennessee tried to pass an anti-drag law, and ACLU of Tennessee prevented that law from passing, citing that it was unconstitutional restriction on free speech. They also secured a $500,000 settlement in 2024 that ended an ordinance in Murfreesboro that allowed the city to deny permits based on LGBTQ content. So one example of that is they shot down the organization of a pride festival one year, and ACLU of Tennessee helped settle that disagreement and reinstate the Pride Festival and other just queer organization abilities in the city of Murfreesboro. I mean, even like you mentioned, of just kind of the things they stand for, voting rights. They in 2020 won a victory allowing various absentee rules to kind of be modified because of the pandemic. They succeeded in legal challenges against the Bible being distributed in public schools. So they kind of have a whole track record of successfully fighting against a lot of these issues.
Yes, absolutely. So, good cause to put a little bit of your cash and a little bit of your time towards, most definitely. Another good cause, one that's a personal favorite of mine, because it's a really direct way to help people. Now, unfortunately, not exactly Robertson County, but the Pencil Foundation. It helps Nashville, just 40 minutes south, especially the teachers in the Nashville Metro Public School System. I've known since I was growing up in high school, even when I was there, teachers did not have enough money to supply their classrooms with the school supplies that they feel that they need to teach your students properly, your kids, and to make a conducive school environment. Pencil directly helps with that, where they're a nonprofit, and not only do they build partnerships between community groups to make sure that the funding is there for teachers should they need it, but they also manage their own little retail store where the teacher can walk in, select the school supplies they need if they have them, and it's free. They get to walk out. They don't even got to pay. That's the coolest part to me about the Pencil Foundation, is that very directly you can see how your donations are going to helping teachers. And it's not just some like pre-made kit that may or may not help the teachers or not. It's they can go into a retail store location, show their teacher ID, and pick out exactly what they need for teaching your kids. Absolutely. And now, since that is a Nashville teachers nonprofit, here is a little something I found that may be able to help a bit more. It's called Donors Choose, and it is a nonprofit where the teachers themselves set up a donation link for what they need, how much it costs to need it. It's basically crowdfunding for teachers, like GoFundMe, but it's specifically for school supplies that they need so that they can properly educate children. If you go on to Donors Choose and you type in Springfield, Tennessee, there are 4 different projects, last I looked up, that need funding that you can help out with, and they're individual teachers. Like, that's the cool part. You know the name of the teacher, you see exactly what they wrote out for what and why they need it, they determine the dollar amount, and from what I've read, it is a very legitimate organization that is national, yes, but set up in such a way where you can help teachers in Robertson County to fund and supply what they need for schools.
And
So
I think we can all agree, or we are all mostly aware, that teachers are underpaid, like you mentioned, have to go get their own school supplies. So I was kind of curious just what the numbers look like and how much money teachers are actually spending on school supplies out of pocket. And this is it kind of ranges based on state, but Tennessee is pretty close to
this
average.
is gonna make me mad, isn't it?
Yes, it probably is.
Okay.
So I'm just going to do national averages, but again, like I said, Tennessee falls right into those averages, so applies just the same. So for the 2024-2025 school year, teachers spent on average $895 out of pocket on school supplies. And generally, some of that is, tax deductible, up to a certain amount. So they're still not even, I think it was, let me look. Yeah, 97% of teachers don't get any sort of reimbursement back from the school. So even those tax deductions, they're never making back all of the money that they're spending on these school supplies. And that number has increased 49% over the past 10 years. So, I mean, as we're all well aware, costs are only rising nowadays. So I'm sure that 895 will be even more next year. 20% of teachers work a second job to be able to afford just living, but also these additional expenses. And 8 in 10 teachers said that inflation and rising cost of school supplies were a concern for them. Now, an interesting kind of other side of the coin statistic that I found is the American College of Education did a survey of asking respondents who of these 4 entities should be most responsible for covering classroom supplies. And the 4 entities were the government, individual school districts, parents, and teachers. And it is in that order that I said them, is the order that they were ranked in. So 45% of people think the government should be most responsible to cover the cost of these supplies. 50% think that school districts should be second. And only 37% think school districts should be the most responsible. And this blew my mind. Only 1.5% of respondents think that teachers should be the ones most responsible for covering the costs of their classroom supplies.
Okay. The fact that there was 1.5% of people that said these teachers should buy their own crap for teaching my kid.
And what was it?
They
85% of parents believe teachers are underpaid. 75% of parents believe that teachers are overworked. So, I mean, we could not all be more on the same page about where we all stand on this issue.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, like, it's simple for the underpaid spot. Sorry, this is just coming out of me. But, like, just remember, they don't get paid for summer. Yeah, the paychecks come in at regular intervals like they do. But for the entire time that school is closed for the summer, they're not making wage. on that. So their paycheck is naturally going to be lower throughout the entire year because you still get a paycheck for the entire year, but you're not getting wage for the entire summer. So just throwing that out there, if you're thinking teachers for some reason aren't underpaid,
Mhm.
they naturally are by the structure of public school systems.
Yeah.
So,
And the last number I wanted to throw out there was this same American College of Education report says that on average, parents report spending $198 per child each year on school supplies. So that's parents are spending $200 per child a year on top of the $900 that teachers are spending for the entire classroom a year. So we're talking if you add up, 30 kids in a classroom, all of those parents are paying $200. I mean, we're in the thousands of dollars. We're talking that of additional income necessary to fund a classroom that is not being provided by the government.
yes, yes. So if you really want to help out with that within Tennessee and within Robertson County, Pencil Foundation for Nashville and for Robertson County, go on a donor choose, see what kind of projects are popping up on there. There's also, if you type in public school nonprofits for Robertson County, you'll get a few more results. They're mainly more on the back end, providing scholarships and back end funding for school systems. But take a look. There's a lot more opportunities out there. But Pencil Foundation and Donor Choose are definitely my favorites because those are the most direct. You see exactly where your money's going and you see exactly what your money's being good for. And they truly put a vast majority of the money they receive in donations into it. With Donor Choose, they have no choice. Once the project gets funded, crowdfunding style, the supplies go out. So that is brings me to we've covered school supply systems and we've covered legal with the ACLU. What we haven't, let's go into a more visceral direction. I'm sure everyone's been seeing the protests we've been doing, especially No Kings, the very famous round of protests against this current administration. So I'm going to mention Indivisible, specifically the Tennessee chapter. Um, Indivisible was brought together in 2016 specifically to oppose the Trump agenda. So it is politically geared towards being the opposition to all of the horrible things that we're starting to see nowadays under this administration. They're a nationwide movement, but they operate almost kind of like a chapter system where you have localized groups in each community and area who will be trained to help other people build communities and, more importantly, get anti-authoritarian politicians elected and to get protests going. So if you want to see more people taking to the streets, Indivisible is absolutely an organization to help and to donate to. Here in Springfield, Indivisible TN7 is our group. And not only that, but TN7 serves Robertson counties and other counties such as Benton County, Cheatham County, Decatur County, Dixon County, Hickman County, and a few other counties. But the Indivisible TN7 is the main group that you will see trying to help get local Democrats in Robertson County elected and to get protest movements going within Robertson County in coordination with the local Democratic parties of each county. I personally really like Indivisible. They are a lot of the reason for the momentum that you're seeing in the Trump opposition movements going on. What they do is they help train people on how to properly organize protests. They help politicians with campaign organization. They're very much building a machine that allows us to get into the positions we need to do and to put on the public pressure we need to put on to start to build a better future from the ground up. So,
Yeah. And I admittedly did not look up any statistics or anything related to Indivisible like I did for some of the others because frankly, if if you don't know why opposing Trump matters at this point, go back and listen to all of our previous podcast
Yeah.
episodes. I mean,
Yeah.
listen to our Why Protesting Matters. Listen to our episode on the
Yeah.
immigration bill. I mean, if you've been paying attention at all, you know why it's important to oppose the Trump
Yeah.
administration right now.
But if you need a hint about how Indivisible's been going lately, the No Kings protests are their most visible movement that they've been funding and coordinating, and they have been breaking records every year that they have been doing them. The latest No Kings protest, we had about 200 people here in Springfield
Mhm.
at the peak, and from what I've read, millions upon millions showed up throughout the nation for the protest. Uh, More people on a singular day of nonviolent protest than America has ever seen on the last round of No Kings. So if you want to protest, if you want to get out there and show them your anger and really feel like you're helping out with the political opposition to Trump, Indivisible's the way to go for that. And also, just as a little aside, I just want to say that I'm very appreciative that Indivisible also works with local Democratic parties to coordinate and to help them get their own protest game up. Like, I know thanks to coordination between the RCDP here and Indivisible, we're protesting every week. We've got protests going on all the time. It is absolutely upped our game. And we very much appreciate all of the help that we get from Indivisible and everyone else that partners with the Robertson County Democratic Party.
Absolutely. Because it's so much more impactful when a bigger organization like that just supplies resources to a community to let them organize in the way that they know works for their community rather than this big organization trying to come in and run everything the way they want to run, and then it's not as effective because they don't know what matters to that specific area.
Yeah, yeah. Also, a point to mention, the fourth nonprofit that I really like that's also helping out with the RCDP is the United Ministry Food Bank of Robertson County. If you want to directly help out with food scarcity, these guys, they're solely volunteer managed. They were created in 1995. They're right on Main Street in Springfield. So if you want to donate some food so that you can feed people who are not fortunate enough to have the same amount of food that we all do, then that is where I recommend to go donate. They're hyper local. You're directly helping your community, and you're helping in food scarcity within Robertson County. So,
Which is a prevalent issue. So
yeah.
it kind of varies every year, but for the past few years, it's kind of hovered or between 11 and 12% of the people in Robertson County are considered food insecure. And that kind of ranges from it's roughly 50% are below the threshold to receive SNAP. So you have to be at 130% or above of the poverty line to receive SNAP benefits, and roughly 50% of the people in Robertson County do not qualify for SNAP benefits despite being food insecure or needing, some sort of food assistance. And according to Feeding America, another good organization I know we didn't call out, but they're again more of a national organization, but check them out if you're interested. The average meal cost, so the way that Feeding America defines this is how much money people who receive benefits are spending in addition to the benefits that they receive per day. So on average, a person is spending $3 a day in Robertson County on top of the benefits that they already receive to just have enough food to survive. And summed up, across 365 days a year across the nearly 8,000 people in Robertson County, that adds up to just under $4.2 million that is being spent in excess of all of the benefits that they're receiving. So, I mean, if that's not motivation to go donate some food to United Ministries, please go donate if you have the ability, because millions of dollars are being spent by people who frankly don't have the money to spend, but they need to because it's on food.
Yeah, yeah, and those people we're talking, uh to kind of bring those statistics down home, we're talking about like they're having to decide between paying all of rent or paying
Mhm.
every single one of their bills or getting food. And unfortunately, we're human beings. You got to buy your food. So they start going behind on bills. They start going behind on utilities. They can't get their children the school supplies that they need,
Medications that they
that
need.
the
Mhm.
medications that they need. They can't feed their children enough to prompt healthy growth up until adulthood. Like, food insecurity is a big problem that can have real physical impacts on parents, children, anyone who doesn't have the ability to pay all of their bills and provide 3 meals a day for everyone in the household. And so that's why I really appreciate United Ministries in Robertson County for helping out. I appreciate Feeding America definitely for helping out. And every other food bank that we haven't mentioned.
Yes, there are many, many more out there. I mean, if for whatever reason, United Ministries isn't your thing or Feeding America, like you said, there are plenty more out there. A quick Google search will bring up many because unfortunately, this is a very widespread issue.
Yeah, I also when I was looking all this up, I do remember seeing an emergency food bank for Robertson County for people who just absolutely cannot buy enough food for themselves. So that's also another consideration that you could donate some money and food to, is the Robertson County Emergency Food Bank.
And I think we mentioned it maybe for ACLU, but just kind of a general blanket statement for all of these organizations. Again, if you don't have the financial ability to support that way, I am sure all of these organizations are always looking for volunteers or assistants to sort through food or to, if you are a legal expert to help the ACLU with cases. There are obviously a bunch of ways to contribute your time or your effort if you can't contribute financially, but we did want to make sure we covered those opportunities too.
Yes, yes. And I would also just like to shout out that the Robertson County Democratic Party also has fundraisers periodically, and we would definitely appreciate any and all support that anyone can provide that helps us get politicians up on the bench to be elected to hopefully reverse some of the horrible policies we've talked about in previous episodes. And it helps us represent you, the people of Robertson County. So, and also, if you want some more in-depth information on that local food bank, I think we did an episode on it long time ago
Hmm.
before we came on the
Yep.
podcast, but we interviewed the one of the leaders of the United Ministries Food Bank. So go check that episode out if you want some more information on them.
Yep.
And for anything else we commented, they're easily Google searchable. Just type in the names that we gave y'all today. They have full splash pages with abouts, very clear donation links. I looked them all up, and none of these charities seem disreputable. We're not going to have any Wounded Warrior Project shenanigans going on with at least these 4 to 5 organizations. So I just wanted to bring that out there because I know a lot of people out there, they want to help, but they've got jobs, they've got responsibilities, and frankly, they don't have the time to physically put their bodies out there to help, and they don't have the circumstances. But what you may have is $20 a week or a month that could help out. 25, whatever you've got. In this very capitalist world, money matters. And unfortunately, we do need money to keep up the fight. All of the nonprofits, the local Democratic parties of your counties, we do need money to keep up this fight. So, but we don't want to pull what the Republicans pull and ask a bunch of slimy billionaires to get that money. We would rather ask the American people if they want to chip in and help out. So just shouting all that out for today's episode. And I hope everyone is having a good day and keep up the fight. Thank you.
And we will see you in 3 weeks.
Yes, 3 weeks. And when you come back, I'm going to have a ring on this hand. So catch y'all later.